There was a time I wouldn't even consider buying the small bottle. It didn't matter what the scent was. It didn't matter how strong it was. If it came in a 100 ml version or a 200 ml version, I had to have the biggest one they sold. And I'd tell myself it was for the value, that it was better cost per spray, I'd say, more for the money. But deep down, that wasn't the truth. It was ego. I didn't want to be the guy with the travel spray. I wanted to be the guy who owned the whole bottle. Like my bank account had commas in all the right places, even when it didn't. The truth is, a lot of those bottles went straight onto a credit card. I'd see people in the community talk about samples and decants, and it made sense. Try before you buy. Smart, responsible. I even admired the ones who recommended that approach, but if I'm honest, I didn't want to be seen sampling. I wanted people to think I could afford it all, even if I couldn't. And I don't say that to judge anyone else. I say that because that was me. I was chasing the illusion of ownership, trying to prove, mostly to myself, that I wasn't the broke kid anymore, that I belonged in the same rooms as the guys with the full bottles and the big collections and the fancy shelves. So I bought the big bottle, even when the travel size would have lasted me a year, even when I didn't really love the scent, even when I had no business spending that kind of money. There were moments that I felt embarrassed when somebody would ask me what I was wearing and I knew I only had a decant or a sample. I'd hesitate, like I hadn't earned the right to say the name out loud unless I had the box and bottle to back it up. It sounds ridiculous now, but it felt real at the time. And the weird thing is, the scent smells the same either way. But back then, it wasn't about the scent. It was about the story I was trying to sell to strangers and honestly to myself. Now, I've made peace with all of that, and I don't feel less than saying, I got this as a sample, or nope, I don't own the bottle. I don't mind if someone else does, but I had to unlearn that part of me that thought size meant status. And I think a part of that shift came from realizing how much of this hobby and the community around it is built on subtle pressures, not just from brands, but by the way we show up online. Full bottles in the background, top 10 lists, shelf tours, hauls. It's all beautiful, and I've done it too. But when I was younger, I wasn't just watching for fun. I was watching to feel enough. And when that little voice in your head says they've got more than you start making decisions that aren't rooted in reality. They're rooted in insecurity. So I put it on the card over and over and nobody knew. I don't blame content creators who get free bottles. I've said it before and I mean it. Most of them really do try to be fair. But I also know how human nature works. When someone sends you something for free, it's hard not to say something nice in return, even if you're not in love with it. That's not evil, that's just psychology. But I had to step back and ask myself, what was I doing? Was I buying for me or buying to be seen? And that's when something finally clicked. All those big bottles I bought to impress people who weren't even looking, not only did that money just disappear, it could have been growing, quietly compounding in the background while that fragrance sat on a shelf, half used, off-gassing into the air. No one ever complimented me for buying the 200 ml instead of the 50. No one ever asked how much I paid, and most of the time, no one even noticed at all. But I noticed because I knew what I was trying to prove. These days, I'm not trying to prove anything, and if there's a moral to this story, maybe it's this. The power of compounding doesn't care what you spend your money on, it just knows you didn't invest. That $300 bottle you had to have, 30 years from now, it could have been something real. A small investment, a business idea, a peace of mind. Instead, it evaporated one spray at a time. So no judgment from me. If you're still buying big bottles because they bring you joy, because they fit your life, then great. But if you're buying them to feel worthy, I've been there, and trust me, you're already enough without it. All right, here we go, back into the box again. It's Christmas time all over. Gonna randomly grab for the first one, and here we go. Let's see what we have. It's heavy, feels good. Feels good in the hand. What is it? Okay. Tom Ford Noir Extreme. Oh, that's good. That's really good. So this one is date night and smells like almost sweet, but not like sweet in like a candy way. Sweet like if you walk into like a chocolate shop where they're making the fudge or something like that, that's what this smells like. So I can tell it's, you know, it's about right here as far as the level goes. So, I mean, I've worn it. So, and And it's not terribly heavy, even though it's definitely more of a night scent. So this is gonna go on the shelf, but you never know. This might be one of those ones that go on the shelf and come back off again. This is another one that feels a little bit on the heavy side for such a small bottle. Or maybe I'm just weak today. It's a possibility. Nope, this one's heavy. Okay, so this one is Parfums de Marly Layton Exclusif. It has an F at the end. I would have said exclusive, but I don't know, maybe that's French, who knows? Now that is freaking good. Okay, so this one is just class and elegance, but still a little bit youthful. So it's almost like a young guy that's got his shit together. You know, that's this. This is a definite stay, a definite keeper. I don't have a lot of those, you know, the brand, but I love every one that I do have. They last forever. I mean, when you spray them on in the morning, you're having to scrub and shower it off. So, you know, if you want to call that a value proposition, I mean, they're not inexpensive, that's for sure, but, you know, it hangs around all day long. It does what you want it to do, I guess. All right, next one. This one's heavy too. Feels very similar. This one's Layton, just the regular Parfums de Marly Layton. And that's freaking great too. They smell very similar. You know, I probably, if I had them next to one another, I could probably say, ooh, this one's different in this way or that way. The exclusive one feels a little bit deeper, feels a little bit maybe richer, but you know, not enough to say, okay, let's put it this way. If I didn't have both and I had to pick one or the other, it's hard to say which one I would pick. The one that's heavy or the exclusive one, I remember that lasting like a long, long time. But then again, so did the other one. And you have to ask yourself, how long do I really need this to last if I'm having to scrub it off at the end of the evening? And how many people did I kill throughout the day with my scent that I enjoyed, but maybe they didn't enjoy? All right, next one. This one's heavy too. This is another Parfums de Marly, and I don't know which, oh, this one's called Percival, I think. It is, yeah. So you're gonna kill me, but every mall has an Abercrombie and Fitch where they blast that scent that we've all smelled since the early 90s. I think it was called Fierce, maybe. This smells like a super classy version of Fierce, which isn't a bad thing. I've always loved Fierce. My elder brother, that's been his fragrance that he's been rocking for like the last 20 years. That's all he'll wear, that's all he buys. So this reminds me of him, but you know, this is super classy, and you know, I'm already running out of room and I need to organize this already. But you know, that's gotta stay. The Parfums de Marly, I have no reason to get rid of them, and they smell amazing. So that's staying. Here we go. This one's pretty heavy too, but it's not a PDM, I know that. Okay, this one is Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo Casual Life. I can't smell it from the cap. Look at this. I cut up some wife beaters, and this is gonna be my little tester strips. Okay, that's good. It's super like Florida, you know, summery, beachy, but it's also nondescript. Anything that you walk into any department store and say, okay, where's your summer collection? This smells just like whatever that is. So this is not going to go on the shelf. I know that I won't reach for that. So here we go. Next one. Oh, this one's a small one. All right, what do we have here? Man, I really wrapped the frick out of it. Oh. So this one is the original Serge Lutens Chergui, and I don't know if you can see the color there, but if you've seen a recent bottle of Chergui, I'm not even gonna try to say it again. You know what I'm talking about. If you've seen a recent bottle of this versus this, that is like black tar. And I don't know if that's because all the alcohol is evaporated out. Maybe somebody can answer that for me. Oh my God. So this one, here's the funny story. as great as this smells and as much as it just brings a smile to my face, I never wore this out. I never sprayed this on, was like, hey, smell me. This has always been like a before I go to bed scent or something like that. I don't wear it out. I mean, I'm sure I have once or twice, but like once I got the feel of it, this is a really soothing, like goodnight scent. I believe this version has been discontinued for a long time. And I believe this particular, if you want to call it batch codes, I hate that whole batch code thing, is very, very sought after. So, you know, I don't want to call it a prized possession, but that's one that I really do appreciate. All right, next one. This one's heavy. This one's heavy. All right, Parfums de Marly, and this one is called Sedley. This one, so freaking good. This is a Florida scent. It's not super bright, but you can get away with it. It's not super heavy either. It's definitely springtime in a bottle. I really, really, really do like it. And as you can tell, even as strong as this stuff is, I made a dent out of this one. So that one's staying hands down. And it actually just brought up a memory. There's one in this collection that has a very, 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 very special memory. And I'll share that when I find the bottle. It's another very, very heavy one. So, okay. This is Parfums de Marly. I'm gonna murder this. I think it's called Oajan. Oh, yeah, it's O-A-J-A-N. So I don't know how to pronounce that. Woo. Now that is winter time. This is, oh my, I think I just grew hair on my arms just from smelling that. It is, yeah, it's like a cherry tobacco cigar that you're smoking after you just ate some apple pie. That makes no sense, and it probably sounds disgusting, but that's kind of the feel that I get from this. Has a little apple pie and a little bit of, you know, like cherry cigar tobacco. I really, really, really love it, but I won't get the opportunity to wear it here in Florida too often. All right, still digging. Want to find something good. Something different. I keep picking up the same lines. I want to try to find something different. All right, let's see what we got. Okay. So this one, it's a sample bottle, so it doesn't have a cap, and it actually says sample on it. This is Molecule 01, and you would think I absolutely love it because there's so much of it missing. But the reason why so much of it's missing, for one, Jeremy Fragrance, watching his channel, he talked about this so highly that I'm like, ah, crap, I gotta get it. Why not? So I bought it, and I literally just all over the place, like, and I couldn't smell it. I couldn't smell shit. And then my wife's like, did you spray cologne of some sort? I'm like, did I spray cologne? I sprayed like 50 sprays of it. And she's like, I smell something, but I don't know what it is. I'm like, all right, well, so I believe a lot of this is gone because I used to literally bathe in it to see, like, does anybody smell me? Anybody? Anybody? No? Okay. So this is not going to go on the shelf. I've heard it can be used for layering or as a base to another fragrance, but I've never quite really understood that myself, because if you spent a crap ton of money on a fragrance because it smells a certain way, why would you want to play chemist and mix it with another one that, you know, notes might clash with one another? You know, I don't know. I'm ignorant to that. So maybe somebody else knows, or there's a valid reason why you would want to do that, but it just has never made a lot of sense to me personally. All right, next one. Wish I didn't use so much tape on these little things because I'm destroying the bags and I'm going to need to use these bags again. Okay, this is Montblanc Individual. This is another one of those ones that I bought because of Jeremy Fragrance, and he said, you've got to have it. It's the most amazing thing. I'm paraphrasing, of course. He said it much more elegantly than that, but I got it in and, you know, I wore it a couple times. You had to spray the crap out of it. He said it smelled of something else that was expensive. And I don't have that one that's expensive that he was talking about, so I really didn't have any point of reference. But all I know is I just didn't really like it. It didn't resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. So that one's a definite no for me. That might find a home to a friend who loves it. Ah, this one. So this one is Hanae Mori Him. So this one is actually going to go to a friend as well. So we both had the purple square Gucci Pour Homme 2 bottle, which I sold one on eBay as I got into that purge mode. And I did it right when the economy was kind of going to shit. And I took a beating on it. I was so disheartened after I sold it because of how little I got for it. And I didn't do the whole buy it now thing. I always like to do the auction thing to see like how much is it going to make, assuming that, you know, there'll be some kind of bidding frenzy over it and, you know, people will just be fighting over it because it's so rare. Whoever bought it got the best deal of their lives, and I was sick for like a week that I let it go. But the reason why I'm going through all of that, this smells like that Gucci Pour Homme 2, spot on, and it's actually a little bit stronger. Hangs around a little while longer. So if I don't keep this myself, which I more than likely won't, my friend Cosmo, he wears Gucci Pour Homme 2, the original bottle, and it's almost gone. So I said, brother, I think I got something for you. So now that I've dug it out, I'm gonna make sure I bring that to him. All right, let's see, one more. Let's see what we got here. All right. Okay, this one's interesting. Billy Jealousy Illicit has a nice little dragon there. Looks like it's about 3/4 of the way full. Yeah, this smells like a 1990s something, you know, like freshy, like how you'd have Cool Water or something like that. This smell, it instantly reminded me of like Curve or, you know, not Cool Water, but, you know, like that whole genre, that whole time. Just nondescript, something you could buy at the local drugstore on their, you know, sale shelf. I don't know if this was expensive or not. It doesn't look like it would be. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is some kind of a clothing line or maybe jeans or something like that. There used to be a clothing store called Buckle back in the day. I don't know if they still are a thing anymore, but I believe I bought this at Buckle. So I must have thought it smelled good at some point, or maybe it reminded me of something. So here we go. One more. Oh, this is a heavy one, and I think this is the one. Okay, so this is the one that has a story. So this is Parfums de Marly Greenlee. So it was my birthday. This is going back a few years ago, whenever this first came out. So I don't know how many years ago that was. And I told my mother, because my mom would always compliment me. She's 80 years old. I might, if I find a picture of her, I might throw it up on the screen. 80 years old, and you know, she's on a fixed income. She can't really, you know, afford to splurge or anything like that. But I remember I told her, I said, Ma, you know, I really like this one that just came out, and we were talking about different things. And she snuck in the money in my birthday card to buy this. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize it until I got home. But so that's why I have this bottle, is because my mom, that couldn't afford it just as well as I couldn't afford it, wanted me to have it so much that that she did that. So this is absolutely positively amazing. Out of all of these fragrances, not just because it has a memory, but for Florida, where I live, getting to use this, something that's fresh and bright and clean, but also lasts the entire day. There's nothing like it. This is definitely at the top of my list of favorites. And obviously for sentimental reasons, that bottle will always stay with me. But on top of that, even if there wasn't the sentimental, you know, tied to it, it's still something to where, you know, the theme of I won't purchase any again. This is one of those ones to where if I made it all the way through this bottle, I'm probably pretty sure that's one I would buy again. It's that good. So we're gonna do one more and I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Here we go. This one's pretty light. Okay, this is Tom Ford Velvet Orchid. That's really, really good. It's feminine. It smells like black orchid, but a little bit lighter. And I don't know if, you know, black orchid is such a, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so unique. I don't know what orchids smell like, but if that's what orchids smell like, they're freaking awesome. But this I'm gonna put on my wife's vanity. It is really good. I know I won't wear it because it does definitely lean feminine. I must have worn it, or somebody must have worn it, because it's about, I would say 3/4 of the way down. But on that note, I'm gonna hang it up here. We'll pick it up in the next video with another story. We'll see ya.